Hello and welcome to IndianExpress.com. Ahead of the assembly elections in 5 states, the Supreme Court ruled that elections will be declared void if the votes were sought in the name of caste, creed or religion. To discuss this development further, I am joined by my colleague Utkarsh to throw more light on what this directive really means. Utkarsh, first of all, what did the Supreme Court really say in the entire ruling?
So I'll start by saying it's a constitution bench judgment. 7 judges were ruling on it.
Okay.
By a majority, 4:3, they have decided that any appeal in the name of religion, caste, language, community or language would render election of a candidate void and null.
Okay.
Now the rationale behind it is that when you seek votes in the name of religion, then you tend to mobilize votes. Now, whose religion was the question before the Supreme Court? Now, does it have to be the religion of the candidate alone, or can it be the religion of the voters also? Now, that is why this matter was before the 7-judge bench. Now, the Supreme Court has said, it has ruled authoritatively that this religion would mean religion of the voters as well.
Okay.
So, if you are a candidate and you belong to a different religion, you are prohibited from seeking votes from a community of voters which are from a different religion in their name of the religion. The previous position was that it only had to be religion of the candidate.
Okay.
So if I belong to religion A, I cannot seek votes in the name of religion A. But now, as the situation now changes, if my voters are of religion B and I belong to religion A, I cannot even seek votes in the name of religion B.
Okay, but in the first place, how did this entire matter really come up?
So there were smaller benches judgments earlier. Now this very interpretation of section 123 subclause 3 of the Representation of People Act was the bone of contention. Now, as I was clarifying earlier, the question was whose religion. Now, the previous position had been that it had to be the religion of the candidate. So if I belong to a particular religion, I am the candidate in election, I cannot ask for votes in the name of religion of my own.
Okay.
But now, as the Supreme Court has given a widened interpretation to the section, to the legal provision, it has broadened the ambit and has brought religion of anyone. This could be the candidate, this could be the voter, the candidate's election agent, or even, I'll give an example, if I get a spiritual or religious leader who tends to mobilize his own followers and ask for votes in my religion's name, then also my election will be rendered void.
Okay.
So any appeal in name of any religion or language, community, that would annul your election.
So clearly the Supreme Court has also mentioned that a candidate will now stand disqualified if he or she is found violating this order. What does this now, how does this impact the elections now?
No, see, there is a procedure prescribed under the Representation of the People Act.
Okay.
Now, how do you disqualify someone? Once you file an election petition challenging the election of a candidate, then you will level the charges that he has sought votes in the name of religion. Now there is a procedure where the High Court would examine that election petition, evidence will be laid down, and if the High Court holds that yes, you did indeed have sought votes in the name of religion, then your election is rendered void. But I'll tell you another thing, another consequence of it is that if you are held guilty of indulging in the corrupt practice of seeking votes in the name of religion, then not only that you lose your candidature for that election, you are disqualified for the next 6 years. You can't fight polls for the next 3 years also.
Right, thank you so much, Utkarsh, for throwing light on the Supreme Court ruling where it is said that parties or candidates who are now seeking votes in the name of religion, the election will be declared void. For more news and updates, log on to IndianExpress.com.